I'm not following anyone else's path but my own. And I didn't come here to follow anyone else's path.
These two energies, your inner masculine and feminine.
I think it's important that you court yourself, you date yourself.
Your energies are blending, and there is a certain way how we can calculate it using the numbers. And this is something that I had to work for quite some time to make sure that they love each other. Well, hello.
Hello.
We're alive.
We are live and alive.
And we're doing this. I'm so
Yes.
happy to have you
Thank
here.
you. It's very
And
nice to be here.
to record this podcast with you, because this is a special one. This is an interesting one, and I'm super excited about this one.
Okay. Same.
Because we're going to talk about polarities.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about something that we're all collectively dancing and living. And some of us were super confused what is happening
Yeah.
and what to do.
Right.
And I feel that we both have a story that I would like to share with people. And I would like to hear your story, how you managed to bring these polarities. And when I say polarities, it's something that doesn't really get along. It's this inner conflict of personalities, of archetypes. How did you manage to make it work? So this is the invitation. This is the direction. And then let's just see how we're going to flow.
Amazing. I'm here for the dance.
Let's dance.
Let's samba.
Let's start.
Yeah.
Today, I would like to use a language that people can relate and something that is more understandable to us, astrological signs.
Okay.
And numbers, of course. When I say astrological signs, I want to stick to you. Your sign in astrology is Capricorn.
Right.
Right? And I'm a Sag. That crazy, crazy one. But what's interesting is that you have quite a few Sagittarius in you as a blend. And I have a bouquet of Capricorn in me. So this is why we are together. And I would like to use these archetypes to dive deeper to share our story. How we managed to put together a crazy Sag, this wild spirit, the fire, the one that just follows the flow and jumps into unknown and kind of like, yay, oops, hey, ha. And the Capricorn, that it's all about structure, discipline. Tell me, how was your journey so far?
In terms of blending both.
Yeah.
So I feel like, so far, I can start as far back as I can remember, right? As a kid, I was always very, very serious, very old soul, very curious. But I was also not like a fun, wild little kid. I had this just very old person presence about me. And they say that Capricorns, when they're younger, they tend to present like an older, just more mature person. And they get more childlike as they get older, which is very accurate. And my journey so far has been, I've always felt that I was very constrained in my way of being. And I grew up Catholic. I grew up in a Latino culture where everything is compartmentalized. You're married with 3 kids by the age of 25. Like there is this schedule that you're expected to follow, which for a Capricorn is fantastic, except when it's not your schedule, except when it's not your choices. So around the age of 25, I was like, wait, I'm supposed to do that. And I don't want that. I'm supposed to be married to a man with children and a wife, a stay-at-home mom raising children just like my mom did, which I love that she did that. But my story was almost the opposite of that. It's like, I want to travel the world and I don't want to be with men. I want to be the CEO that my parents wanted me to marry. Like, what the heck? So it was that realization that led me to really just burst the bubble of my Capricorn driven life, where I wanted to be married with kids at 25 because I wanted to tell the society that I grew up with, like, hey, I'm successful. I did it. And my Capricorn really enjoyed getting me to the point of like, okay, you have the boyfriend, you have the path, everything is set up. All you got to do is say yes. And that was a moment where I pulled the plug on that. And I was around 25. And I had to just really release a lot of those labels of what a successful person is, what a successful human woman is. So that's really where the dance of the awareness that I am not this energy. I'm not this archetype as it was said to be embodied. I'm not following anyone else's path but my own. And I didn't come here to follow anyone else's path. I came here to forge my own authentic path. And so the polarities were, like you said, like numbers, they were guides of like, oh, this is a little too far on this side. This is a little too far on that side. So kind of like a pinball machine. Like I had to really understand how to use the levers of the polarities to keep my ball in the air, right? To keep me happy. So I would say so far, I mean, fast forward almost 20 years, I'm at a point in my life where I've really understood the dance, as you say, the dance of the masculine, the feminine, understanding that like you have a bouquet of Capricorn. I have an incredible bouquet. They're orchids, by the way, of Sagittarius. And it's this beautiful, like, it's gorgeous. It's very feminine. It's very free. It's very wild. And yes, it's crazy. As you say, I use that word with a lot of love and respect because it is beautiful. And
Crazy, but crazy sometimes.
People that say that they're not crazy are the craziest ones, for real.
Exactly. At least we claim it.
We're all crazy. I think for me, I'm also a creative, right? I love to create music. I'm a graphic designer by nature. I play with technology. Like I build systems in artificial intelligence, but then I humanize it. Like I love visuals. And so when I started to really understand this dance, it was like, okay, what would help me personify these energies? And that's a recent discovery that I've actually had with you, which is I have these energies, I have these polarities. They're helpful. They're here to guide me. They're not here to forsake me. How does this dance help me understand what steps to take next in my life as I create, as I co-create, as I bring in my sacred partner, as I'm contributing to my community? So I'm at a point in my life where all these tools are now almost like I know how to drive the polarities so I could, just propel forward. And I've built such incredible momentum in the last 20 years through the awareness that, hey, listen, I'm marching to the beat of my own drum. It's absolutely okay. And how do I discover what this rhythm of mine, what this beat looks like? Who am I? It's the polarities. It's the polarities.
It is.
So I'm a big fan.
Thank you so much for sharing. It's very inspiring because I know your numbers. As a numerologist, I can see how these different polarities can play through the numbers that you have in your date of birth. But also, if we keep it within the signs, which is Sagittarius, which you feel it's more feminine energy. And
me, yes.
Capricorn for you is more masculine. And just to see how they co-create, if they get along, because they're so different, completely different. And I feel that one in a way triggers another, like this crazy Sag or crazy feminine, which is all about chaos and kind of like, I feel like I want to go and surf. And this is what I want. And you, dear Capricorn or inner masculine, take me there because I want it. And then how your inner masculine is going to react. Excuse me, like I have work to do. I need to pay bills. It doesn't make sense to me to go and fly with you to Costa Rica, which has been my journey. This was the moment when my Capricorn kind of like surrendered to my inner Sag. I believe that for everyone who's watching us, the invitation is to find this archetypes, just to actually see these two energies, your inner masculine and feminine, and to start noticing how they interact.
Yeah.
What conversation do they have? Who is your inner feminine? Who is that crazy wild one? There are so many beautiful tools that can assist you, such as astrology, numerology. We can say it. We can look at the numbers and say like, okay, you have number 6. This is a very feminine energy. And number 6, it's all about creativity. It's all about visuals. It's music. It's voice. So this is your feminine essence. This is your date of birth. I feel like we all need to do this work. Because when we find out more about our polarities and specifically where they're not getting along, this is an opportunity for us to go deeper and to be as a parent, in a way, to be the observer who's like, hey, I see you, dear Capricorn. I see what you can do. your structure. It makes sense. I got it. This is beautiful. I freaking love Capricorns for that. To give it a structure, to like show up, to be committed, to be like that. But I also see my feminine and my Sag who wants to go and surf just because she feels like this is the wave. And I know that when I surrender to my Sag, something magical happens. She gets inspired. Oh my God, the waves, the water, like, My Capricorn is like, oh God, oh God, oh God. He just prays. But then my inner feminine, she gets inspired. So when she gets inspired, she inspires my inner Capricorn to get her state of being, this state of her being wild and free, and to find a way like, okay, this is a beautiful energy that I feel from my inner woman. How can we use it to share it with the world? Can it be a podcast? Can it be a workshop? Maybe there is a formula here, how you treat your inner feminine. So she gives you inspiration to go and create something that you can share with people. Exactly. And this is something that you can monetize and like blah, blah, all this Capricorn stuff. And this is what I found out. My inner masculine, my inner Capricorn, he is looking for energy when my inner woman is inspired, when I trust her and I allow her to be, so she can set up the direction. Just like, hey, this is how I feel. Can you use that juicy energy and just make it work?
Yeah, that's our inner creator. Everyone has that. And whether it's a podcast, whether it's a business, whether it's numbers, whatever, we were designed to create. So I feel like understanding these two polarities and getting them to cooperate and co-create and collaborate actually is where your creations and creativity come out the way they're supposed to in full authenticity, because no one else has. You may have the Sagittarius Capricorn dance, but look at how you dressed today. Look at how I dressed today. It's your own unique style. And so even if, people that are watching this podcast that have those two specific signs kind of in very present and trying to help them, understand this dance, that's great. But it's going to be their own unique, authentic thing. And it may not result in the surf trip. It might result in quitting your corporate job, which is like a big, big leap of faith. And it scares a Capricorn who loves structure and stability. It's very daunting. So I think it's important to realize why is it so, I would say, why is it such a gift to ourselves to really understand what this dance is and why it is. Because ultimately what's going to be born of this is your legacy. It's what you're leaving behind in the world. And a lot of people think, well, I have to have children to leave a legacy. And I think that's accurate, yeah, but children are going to have their own dance and their own polarities and their own thing. And they may or may not reflect you through that. So truly, your legacy is what you create because of this dance. And you said it beautifully. You have an artist and then you have the actual like actionist behind it. And a lot of times people say, well, you can't be a business person and an artist at the same time. I actually disagree. I think that creatives that allow themselves to let their inner child run free and create and surf and sing and write music and channel and whatever, go on world trips and be a nomad, whatever the case is, that allow that other side of the spectrum to come in and say, how do we not necessarily monetize this, but how do we structure this so that it is sustaining the fun? Mm-hmm. How can you make your joy sustainable? Which could mean, how do we make your joy pay the bills, right?
Exactly.
And so I think it's really important to understand the why, because it's a fun dance to have. But when you're stuck here, really, like, it's there's a time for the dance and there's then a time to go home and rest, right? Like, think of it as a party. And once you figured out the dance, it's like, I figured out the dance, but I'm not going to dance all night. Now I got to go enjoy what this dance felt like, integrate it, bring it down, rest, and share.
That's so beautiful that you mentioned this, because you were talking about the cycles.
Yeah.
And there is something that I love to share with women. Mm-hmm. and men too, something that really helped me on my journey to navigate and to know exactly when it's time to dance, give it a structure, or like execute. I've been following the cycles of my body, also the moon. Yeah, really, like the new moon, the full moon, and there is a certain sequence when it's time for us to activate our inner masculine, as we call it, or in our language, it's our Capricorn. When we receive the direction, the invitation, the kind of like inspiration, how to navigate the next month, and then we make a plan. We give it a structure. Like, what can we do? What actions we can take to bring it into reality? So I feel that the first part of the cycle, it's more masculine. When you grow, you become stronger. And then the second part of the cycle, this is more reflection, it's contemplation, it's more about celebration. It's kind of like, hey, I want to go and I want to surf, I want to go and I want to treat myself with spa, or I want to go and do something fun. And this is how at least my inner masculine and feminine, they dance together. My inner feminine, she knows that right now this is my masculine time, this is my Capricorn, he needs to do the work, he needs to do things, he needs to act. And then there is a part for my inner feminine who just wants to go and walk in the middle of the jungle or forest, just like like communicate with the moon, with the birds, with the herbs, with the trees, and just like hug them, just like, oh my God. So, and he respects it, and he's like, yeah, this is your time now. So I am here for you, but let's go and let's take you to the ocean, to a spa, or whatever you want. So I had to build this inner relationships within me, between these two. And it was not easy.
Yeah.
And now I want to kind of like go deeper into the struggles, because it was not like that. Capricorn, Sag, oh, they love each other. No, not in my case.
Yeah, and not in mine either, because there had to be a lot of clashes and
A lot.
eruptions.
Friction.
Yeah.
Trigger.
Contrast.
Can you please share what was challenging for you to put these polarities together to the point that, okay, now they work?
I would say the one thing that comes to mind is, as someone that has a very specific sexuality, and I've chosen to live a life with a woman, and I've chosen to not necessarily label myself, but understand that I'm eventually picking a life that is different, and a life that to some people it needs to be explained. And I would say that was my first taste of containment, of containing a fire of truth of who I am. And I was in the closet for 20 years. So talk about the Capricorn holding that in with the structure of a closet, right? Like an energetic closet where it's like, we're not going to tell anybody this. So Sagittarius, you're going to, that fire wildness in you is just going to shrink to nothing, because we are not proud of who we are yet. And so that's really where, at first it was fine because it was safe. No, I was not in the spotlight. I was not creating. I was always behind the scenes, celebrating others, putting myself last, because I didn't want anyone to crack me open, because they were going to find something that I was at that time very afraid. But it was a fire. It was my truth, right? And I think and it was also very, very feminine, in the sense that it's like, it was the most feminine thing about me, is that I loved women. I love women. And so that was the biggest taste of the dichotomy, of the contrast of like, I have such a bold, powerful truth that should not be contained ever, which is the truth of who I love and what I love and how I love. No one can tell you that. Not society, not your parents, not your ancestors, no one. Not even yourself. Not even that energy that's like, I'm not ready for this, because the Capricorn loves status, structure, recognition, achievement.
Keep
and
the
so
face.
yeah, and so what happened at that point was just like, I had to have it was a kind of an eruption of truth, right? So that for me, that was the biggest, like the being in the closet and keeping myself there for 20 years. Ultimately it just erupted. I would say that was the first step in the dance, the eruption of coming out to my mom. And it happened not like, hey, let me sit you down and like tell you what's been going on in my life. It was very different. It was like, I am upset about something else and this truth can no longer hide. So my anger is just going to catalyze this and put it right here. And that was my Sagittarius being very smart, because she's crazy, but she's also very smart, very strategic. And it's the type of strategic that is where you can trust flow, and it's blind trust. And that is the best strategy, right? And so when these two things started to unfold, the truth was out. It's like you're on the dance floor and you can't help but just figure out how to dance, right? And so I would say that was the biggest struggle. I mean, obviously integrating that truth about 5 years ago, which is when I fully came out, mainly to myself, but to my family, was the first awareness of, oh, the deed has been done. I'm not ashamed, actually. I'm actually very proud of this. And the Sagittarius comes to the Capricorn and says, see, it's not a bad thing. See, people still love you. See, like, you didn't disappoint anyone. If anything, you've inspired people. So that recognition and status that you really like, it's different now, but it's still there. It's not that same track that society told you to follow. Now, by being authentic, you inspire even more. Now, by being authentic, you're even more abundant. Now, by being authentic, you are actually not exhausted. Now, by being authentic, you can trust me more. And so the conversation started when I came out of the closet, really. But it was the closet that made me realize, like, something's up.
Wow. So what I hear and what I see here is that the main, like, initiation and that chemistry that happened, it was about your Capricorn that had to surrender to the unknown.
Yeah.
And pretty much jump into that unknown.
Yes.
Into this void.
Yeah.
By trusting your oracle, your Sag, your inner feminine, whatever. Yeah. But we still want to keep it within this language, right? So, and this is where he felt like, okay, I can trust that.
Well, I have no choice.
Or I had no choice.
I have no choice, because now my biggest fear, which was for the world to know that I'm gay, is out. And the Capricorn's like, shit. So it was almost like the Sagittarius's way of not tricking the Capricorn, but it's this overflow of, like, it's time to just be me. So much so that the Capricorn, like, doesn't get in the way of that, can't get in the way of that, because that's not something you can control.
Let's translate it and simplify it so people who are watching this podcast can use this formula. First of all, right? Let's make it as a formula.
Yeah.
When I wear this,
you're Capricorn.
I'm Capricorn.
Okay.
I'm gonna share. I created this whole series
That's your
of
formula. That's how you know.
inner dialogues on my Instagram, where I channel my Capricorn, which is this, and my woman who, like, speaks with the moon. But we're gonna get there. Now, I really want to offer something to people who are watching. So, first of all, the first step would be to sit and to see which parts of you, which identities, where they are not really connecting.
Right.
Where is the conflict? Connect with the inner feminine, whatever she sees or feels. It's all about feeling. And for the masculine, pretty much to trust and to surrender.
And to feel trusted,
and
too.
and to feel trusted. It's all about jumping and exploring. But what if? What if I say yes to, like, quitting the job that I don't like, moving to another country, get a divorce? Our soul wants us to stretch. Based on numerology, it can be your identity, which happened with you.
Yeah.
This is your identity. This is who I am. Yeah. That was the stretch. It can be something ancestral. For example, my family or my mom and my dad, my grandmother, blah, 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 they're all doctors. but I don't want to be doctor. I want to be a basketball player. You go and you jump into this unknown, stepping into something that is not fully supported by your lineage.
Yeah.
Right. And this is also like claiming and ripping yourself from that pattern and like, okay, I'm going to trust and explore this path because I like it. It can be prosperity, quitting the job, investing money into something that you would never invest, and many, many other stretches when it comes to money. It can be relationships. When you are with a partner, but you feel that you need to move on.
Yeah.
It's a divorce. It's any type of separation. This is a big stretch because you feel that something is off and you need to jump. And I did it. I was in a relationship for 12 years.
Yeah.
That was a big, big, big jump into unknown. I had to trust that inner voice. That was one of the scariest things I've ever done in my life. Really. So that was my first initiation for my inner masculine to trust my inner feminine that felt like, hey, we need to do it.
It almost sounds like, and I feel like a lot of people might be thinking like, well, I don't know what that is for me, right? And I feel like everyone has their like biggest fear. Like, what's your biggest fear of life? And, you know, I asked you 12 years ago, what's your biggest fear of life? Is, well, my marriage to end. What you asked me 20 years ago, what's my biggest fear? Is people find out I'm gay. And there's a lot of information in that because where I think it's Joseph Campbell that says the cave that you fear the most to go into holds your biggest treasure, right? And I feel like there's a lot of, that's the first step. It's like, ask yourself, what are you most afraid of right now? What scares you so much? Because fear and love are one and the same, right? So it's fear now, but it's just really your signal that there's so much love here. And there's really, that's the love that activates this dance between the two. And you said something really interesting about your feminine side, or the Sagittarius in us. She's very intuitive. The feminine energy in all of us, including men, is extremely intuitive. That's the gut feeling. That's like, but you know, it's like, and my gut says that, right? And how many times do we not listen to that? Or, right. And that's part of the dance is the surf trip. Why is the surf trip calling? You know what? I don't know. Sagittarius, I don't, as a Sagittarius, I don't know. It just does. Right? The intuition. And then the Capricorn has a choice. The Capricorn can say, I'm going to completely sabotage this plan because it doesn't make any sense on paper. You don't have the money. It's not the right time, or whatever, the trip, the divorce, the song, whatever, right? This intuition of yours doesn't make sense to me. The analytical side. And it doesn't have to be a Capricorn. It could be for someone else. It could be Aquarius, Pisces, Aries. It's the masculine side where that is a little bit more like, wait, how is this going to be assertive and structured? And how is this going to be a system, right? And the feminine Sagittarius side says, I don't know, just go with it. And that is, it's when that other energy that would normally shoot it down says, okay, fine. And so I think it's important to highlight the intuitive side that everyone has, right? And that's your feminine energy speaking. So it's where that small voice inside of you. Some people are like, what does that even sound like? It's you. It's that sometimes you can barely hear it.
There are some people who actually have no idea where to start. And there are many tools that can assist them. One of the tools that I personally can offer is karmic numerology. This is my field. This is that helped me to see certain energies and codes and numbers in your date of birth. They represent feminine or masculine energies. There are some codes that are more feminine. There are some codes that are more masculine. Your code 6, it's a feminine code. That's your identity, right? But you also have very masculine codes, which is number 1. This is a masculine code. Number 4, masculine. And number 7, also more masculine. It's like this inner warrior. So when you sit with your numbers, you can actually see what proportion of feminine to masculine you have. It's fascinating. It's who you are in this, as we call it, 3D when you're a human being. Of course, when we're souls, We're go beyond the gender. We're
There's
fluid.
no gender, yeah.
There is no gender, but still, we're here. We're human beings, and the invitation for us to find the way how to make it work using this blend of numbers or archetypes or identities that we received as our toolbox. You have your own toolbox.
Right.
I have my own toolbox. So we'll look at your numbers and we can say, like, okay, based on what I see, you have more feminine essence in you, right? And it seems to me that the invitation and your stretch was for your masculine to surrender to that inner wisdom, to that inner knowing. This is how you bring balance to your strong Capricorny masculine energy by trusting the feminine. In my case, I have a lot of masculine energy in me, a lot. And my invitation was also to trust that inner feminine. So I also had to jump so many times and just like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like, it doesn't make how. Like,
One more jump in.
what? Hello, like, why? But I had to. And now every time when I need to jump, I'm actually excited. It's like, okay, we need to jump again. Let me just stretch a little bit. Take that breath in.
Yeah.
And we go all in, and we go all in.
Yeah.
And it's the most rewarding thing because, you know, to me, it feels like we call it unknown, but at the same time, it's so much known. It's like we know it.
It's very certain.
It's
in a way.
very, it's, and this is another dance of polarity. So it's like, I have no idea, but, and you're the one who told me this when we did this beautiful festival with our friend Sitara. And I said, like, I have no idea what I'm going to say when I go on that stage. And you told me, no, you know. And yes, in a way, I do, of course.
Yeah.
I had no idea how this podcast is going to be. And I didn't know what the topic is going to be until like 20 minutes ago.
But you did.
But you know.
You did.
So this is another kind of like crazy thing for our brain to comprehend. It's like, I don't know, but I do know. And as long as you take that step forward, this is how you receive this clarity, that direction. Because when you take that step forward, you are pretty much claiming that I trust you.
Yeah.
I trust you. And when you do that, you receive the clarity, inspiration, navigation, support, and everything that you need on that journey to be accomplished. So you reach your final destination, as business people say, from point A to point B. That's what my coach used to say. Yeah, that point B.
I think it's important to highlight when you take that step up full of trust and surrender. When in my case, the Capricorn's like, you know what, she's crazy, but I've started to enjoy this. Let's take that step. The path appears. The next step knows where to go. And then the next step. And then you find yourself, for us, it's synchronicities, but in reality, it's like, this is just the path that you're forging with trust within yourself by bridging these two energies together. Now, not only are you in action, which is very satisfying to the masculine side, but you're also in inspired action, right? So it's every step is a sacred step. It's a sacred yes to this path that is being forged by pure surrender, pure trust, pure flow, which makes the feminine side extremely satisfied. So now you have two extremely satisfied energies, and it feels like a happy couple. So it's not just happy wife, happy life. It's like, it's happy energies, sacred, beautiful flow life. And actually, we're hosting an event on Tuesday, which is all about really understanding how to prompt ourselves and how to prompt energies to come forth and help us understand the contrast that might be living within us, but also to allow for just a second to take a step into the void, into the known, sacred unknown, and to the divine unknown that is perceived as an unknown, but it's truly where all the answers lie. And just a second, tap into that. And I'm excited about this event because I feel that this is an invitation for pure sacred authenticity, which is personally my mission, is to now use this dance to just show up, marching to the beat of my own drum, pure and happy and for pure sacred flow, so that others may feel comfortable doing so. Not that they need my permission, but it does help to see
Absolutely.
a wild Sagittarius Capricorn in full embodiment.
Absolutely. And that's going to be an experiment. Wow. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
You know, something that came to me right now?
What's that?
Okay, so when we master or when we find our own unique like blend of this polarities, inner feminine, masculine, and we make sure like, okay, they get along now, they know how to co-create, and we'll really take a moment to leave them and experiment with this inner polarities, right? Then we meet our love partners.
100%.
Right?
You know what?
This is kind of like, okay, the next initiation.
Of course.
Right. First, you build this inner marriage within you. And I feel that this is so freaking important
Oh, yeah.
because the big reason why I had to experiment myself being single for quite some time is because I felt like, okay, I need to be single to figure this out. Of
course.
Because you receive a lot of projection when you are with someone. Your energies are blending, and there is a certain way how we can calculate it using the numbers. And this is something that I have on my website. You use the date of your birth and you see what is your authentic way of expression in love, the code of your partner, and compatibility, what you co-create.
Yeah.
So when we are with someone, right, it can be sometimes challenging to really feel, but wait, we're co-creating something right now.
Yeah. Yes.
It's a triangle. It's a trinity. But if I am by myself, then what do I have here? How does it feel? And then when you figure this out, you meet another human being. And then it gets very exciting because if I am integrated, if I know who is my inner masculine or feminine, and you know it too, then they will have to interact. Your Sag,
They have a choice.
They have a choice.
Yes.
Like, do they like each other or not?
Yeah.
And in our case, it's super aligned because you're Sag, I'm a Sag, you're a Cap, I'm a Cap. It's like we really get each other. We're like, okay, you're a Capricorn now, I'm a Sag, like that. But it's very interesting because I had their friends and other partners, and that was not always the case. And sometimes they're like, oh, I'm not sure, like her feminine or like masculine, or like my inner dude is not getting along with the inner dude of that person.
But
and
here's
then,
the thing. Most people don't think that because most people don't look at a human and say, there are many parts of you. And when you're exploring a partnership, and especially a sacred partnership, which for me is for life, it's such an important thing that I explore all parts. Yet I had never done that in all of my relationships. I was just like, okay, you check off boxes of achievement, of healing, of all these things. And I never, ever did the exploration of what's your feminine energy like? What is your masculine energy like? Or which are mine? Forget the other person. Like I had not done the inner exploration. And to your point, I think it's important that you, as they say, that you court yourself, you date yourself, and then you propose to yourself, and then you marry yourself. And that doesn't need to take an enormous amount of time. I think it's all correlated to the level of awareness of these energies. I mean, I'm already married to myself, you know, it's a very happy couple, and I know what that feels like. And every time that something outside of me is like, oh, I go home to that every night. I wake up to that every morning. So you better believe I know what a happy home feels like. So now, for the first time ever, I'm ready to create that with someone because I have offered it to myself for the last 7-8 months. Yes, it took time, but understanding this exercise and this formula was a big part of that because I realized I wasn't doing that ever. And that's why my relationships wouldn't work. So this is extremely powerful formula, even if people are already in partnership. But it's, you know, doing this exercise first if you're single alone, but then also if you're in partnership,
Right.
really like taking the time to do that fun exercise with your partner. And you know, that's something that I know you can guide couples as well. So it's really beautiful that this exists. So
absolutely.
thank you for helping us package it and formulate it.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's my pleasure. I do it with numbers and it is a play. And I want people to really understand, because sometimes people ask me like, okay, but does it mean that I also need to be single to reach that level of feeling that, oh, okay, I know this is my feminine? No.
No.
You can be with your partner.
Yeah.
And you can invite your partner to play this game. Because to me, numbers that I use, it's a game. It's a game. We sit and it's like, hey, it seems like my feminine is like this. My masculine is like that. And again, we can see it just using your date of birth.
And I just love how you have tapped into the code of Gaia, really. And I mean, since I've only known you for like it feels like forever, but it's really been like a couple of weeks. But that just goes to show when alignment and frequency, when you tend to those things, you attract people that feel like you've known them forever. One thing I want to add is in a relationship, when even in sacred partnership or you're about to have a divorce, you can still explore this exercise. And one thing I want to point out, and one of the reasons that a lot of my relationships didn't work, is I lost myself in that relationship. And I feel like this exercise, to be truly done when in partnership, requires time with yourself. Start having a ritual in the morning if you don't. Start making space for yourself with yourself to have these conversations. And I think that just goes such a long way in really establishing a healthy relationship where you're not codependent with your partners, because there's so many codependent relationships out there where they lose themselves because they don't have space to come home, and they never know that, so they don't know what that feels like.
That's why we're looking for that feeling of home in other
people outside.
That's why
of
we
us.
put this on them. This is what I used to do in my relationships, like past relationships, because I was so lost that I was attracting very powerful men in my life. And they were just like my shield. They were holding me because I didn't know that I have my inner Capricorn and my inner masculine. He's so freaking powerful that anytime when I feel unsafe or I want this coziness, instead of like running to my partner and say like, hey, give me that attention. You're not supporting me. I go and I sit next to my altar. I connect with my inner masculine, my Capricorn, my code 8, whatever. And I just like, hey, hold me. Like I need your presence right now. And then when you do this work, then you go back to your partner without trying to change him or her, without trying to shift their identities, their authenticity, just because there is something that you want to receive and you cannot do it for yourself. So you go and you're like, hey, you're not that enough. You're not this enough. No, you go back to yourself, back to your home. You do the work, you come back, and you interact with your partner, respecting his or her unique, authentic blend of masculine and feminine. And this is the beauty. And this is how we connect and respect each other. This is how we co-create, by respecting the authenticity. This is the work. This is the next step. But
I want to make a disclaimer. Because doing this kind of work doesn't mean that if you're in a relationship, it doesn't mean the relationship will heal. If it's broken, it might break it.
Yeah.
It might break it.
It might.
Because you are elevating your frequency by doing this. You're finding optimal performance within yourself. And that has no choice but to raise your frequency. And here's the invitation for the partner that's with you in this relationship. I feel like every relationship has a potential to work, but both people have to be willing to do the work to really finding the sense of home. If you're starting this work in partnership already and you've never done this, it's just like really holding each other through the process of making it kind of like a game, like, oh, wow, this is, and exploring and being open to when things don't feel that great, because it does have the ability to polarize your partner. It's a scary process sometimes to really crack open, because a lot of people are afraid to do that. And so all I'm going to say is, if this work done well and honestly and truly, and it feels good to you, and if that ends your relationship and that feels good and you still feel aligned inside, your heart is saying, hey, this is no longer serving you, really sit with that, because it's okay. because your frequency will change. You will lose, let's just say you will shed things that no longer serve you, that no longer match you. You will outgrow certain versions of yourself that got you that far, that served you very well until that point. Because in order to really dance this dance and let these two energies become one and emerge from you, something will have to shed. And it's very likely that it's an older version of yourself, these older energies, or the density that was created by the dance of older energies. So just a quick
Absolutely.
disclaimer. But again, Christina
Absolutely.
can help you walk through that if you need.
There is a way how we can calculate when we take two different numbers that you come with. Your number is 6, my number is 7 as my identity, which is the day of my birth, right? And how we calculate these numbers, it's we put, if you have 2 digits in your date of birth, you put them together, you sum them up. I was born on the 16th, which gives me number 7. You were born on the 24th, which gives you number 6, right? This is like the simple math that we do. So we take your number 6, my number 7, we put them together, and the number that we receive at the end, it tells us what is this union about? What is the overall theme? What do we need to learn and how we can support each other, but respecting each other's identity code. Me respecting your code 6. That's why when I was selecting a podcast studio, I know that you're 6. I know that you're number 6 and your woman, she does care about being comfortable. So I know your essence and I think about it. It was like, okay, if I'm dealing with code 6, sex, 6 person, then I want to think about it because I know that is important. And this is how I show respect to who you are by just taking care of certain things. So you feel good. And you knowing that I'm number 7 and I am, the explorer and I like to contemplate things. I like to da. So you give me that space to just sit and have these deep conversations and reflect back to me. So this is what we do. And our chemistry together, what we co-create, gives us number 4. And number 4, it's all about building a solid foundation. It's about understanding where we are, who we want to be. So this is what we help each other to do. It's the foundation. It's something very solid that will allow us to move forward and build on top. This is our blend. And this is something that people can calculate easily. And it gives clarity, it gives direction. And that's why my inner Capricorn loves it. And my inner feminine is just like.
Well, it's also like, on that note, I think it's important to highlight that I was thinking about this the other day, like the ability of a Sagittarius to flow and just trust and have a blast wherever they are. That is a sense, it's almost like the flow is the structure. It's like technology. When you're doing it with full surrender and trust, it never fails. So a Capricorn observes this and says, whoa, that's different, but it's actually the stuff that turns me on. It's just in a different flavor. But it watches the Sagittarius like literally say like, let's flow. And it watches how every synchronicity, every resource, everything just shows up exactly as it's meant to. And in a way, the Capricorn's like, well, I want to try to rebuild this on my own. And it might be able to. And this is why workshops happen and content and businesses happen. But there's this unstructured ancient technology that also, I mean, for me at least, my Capricorn is highly turned on when it observes this and says, how the heck did you pull that off? Again, and so now what happens is your Sagittarius, and that's what's happened to me after really coming out of the closet. It's like I keep not one-upping my Capricorn. I keep showing up in my full essence and showing it that it is not just safe to trust me, but that it's actually exciting.
And this is the beauty and this is the alchemy that all of us are meant to experience. We're using the Capricorn and Sag just to kind of like as an example, but it's all about feminine and masculine.
Yeah.
And the invitation for all of us to go and explore who are these two, to connect with them, to have a conversation with them, to ask them how they feel. Take your feminine, take your masculine, and put them together and observe how they interact.
Yeah.
Do they like each other or no? Does your inner masculine trust the intuition of your inner feminine that just like, let's go and surf, or let's go and like, let's quit that job and let's take this money and travel the world? And your inner masculine was like, what? And is there this level of trust? And this is something that we can all do.
Yeah.
And this is my invitation to people who are watching. And there are many tools that can assist us on this way, on this path. And just play with it. Really, really play with it. Embrace it. And always know that we're always supported. When we start playing our life, when we actually play, we always get this support from the divine.
Yeah.
Because they want us to play. This is an invitation to really dive deeper, explore, find this unity, and play. Just play. Play, play, play with trust, with direction, with respect, with love, and joy. This is, I feel like this is a finito, unless you want to add something else.
I feel very complete.
I feel like,
You completed it.
that's it.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And I want to appreciate just all of us human beings. We're so freaking amazing and awesome and authentic and beautiful. And every time when I see codes of people, I'm just like, oh my God, this human is just wow. Wow. And it excites me. And that's why I just keep falling in love with every single human being, because I see how freaking awesome they are.
They're a reflection of you.
Yes, because we're all one.
Exactly.
And this is another
That's a
crazy,
whole other podcast.
crazy, like,
That's a whole other podcast, but I think it's beautiful that you are falling in love with people one number at a time, because it means you're falling in love with yourself and all the different versions of yourself that exist out there, one number at a time.
thank you so much.